The biggest hornet in the world, bees without mercy, a caterpillar with a tricky appearance, the main plague carriers, and many others. In this episode, you'll see the most dangerous insects in the world. Hard ticks. This is the name of the family of the most dangerous insects, which includes more than 650 species. Among them, there are both relatively harmless creatures and incredibly dangerous, ready to suck blood and carry terrible diseases. Unfortunately for us, you can meet these monsters almost everywhere, even in Antarctica and the Arctic. As I said, scientists have counted more than 650 species of these creatures, each of which is adapted to life in its own particular conditions. Some are accustomed to living in the cold, others to the highest temperatures, and others have settled in the forests. And it would be a different matter if all of them were easy to spot, but this is not the case. Small size allows these parasites to remain unnoticed until the very last moment. As soon as they hit an exposed patch of skin, they immediately cling to it as their last chance to stay alive. Hard ticks are so engrossed in the process that even their mouth organs are under the victim's skin at this point. Before they start sucking blood, the mites may be no more than 0.1 inches in size, but afterwards they increase tenfold. At the same time, the bag-like elastic body gradually stretches and acquires a light gray color. Although these mites do not mind eating our blood, their main victims are other mammals. Larger animals and humans are parasitized by adults, while smaller animals such as rodents are parasitized by larvae and nymphs. Ticks hide in the grass and wait until the target's within reach. Then they jump on it with their spread legs and cling to it. These insects are full and in no hurry to get anywhere. One such blood meal can last for days. Fluffy caterpillar. As realized by many, caterpillars are harmless creatures, and you should not expect anything dangerous or terrible from them. However, there are some incredibly poisonous individuals in nature that are vitally important to know about. One of them is this one. Its habitat is the United States and Mexico. It lives in the forests, resting on the leaves of trees. Outwardly, it looks normal, not much different from other ordinary individuals. Its entire body is covered with long, thick hairs, which do not pose any danger. However, under them, you can find venomous spikes. It's enough to touch them to get burning, rash, and severe pain. In length, such a caterpillar usually doesn't exceed 1.2 inches. So watching it from the outside, an untrained person will take it for a harmless lump of fur. But as soon as you touch it, you'll feel an insane pain in the entire chest within seconds. There will be bruising at the point of contact with the caterpillar. It's also likely to be complemented by a headache and nausea. Usually, these symptoms go away the following day. However, if the fluffy caterpillar injects more venom than usual, it can take as long as a week. Africanized bee. Many of you will probably think that this is nonsense. Well, bees can't be among the most dangerous insects. Yes, bees from our vegetable garden are unlikely, but as for Africanized bees, it's quite possible. These aggressive insects have infested almost all of South America, and people don't know what to do about them. Anyway, before we start describing them, let's find out why bees living in America are called Africanized bees. It's actually quite simple. A famous entomologist chose African bees for his experiment. He crossed them with a local subspecies and got more than 25 hybrid families. The experiment was successful. The insects tolerated the South American heat perfectly and gave a lot of honey. It seemed to be a definite success, but as it soon turned out, it was too early to rejoice. Despite their high efficiency, the bees were insanely aggressive and attacked everything they encountered. In all the hives where they lived, the researchers even installed special fuses to prevent the bees from flying away. But as always, things didn't go according to plan. One of the beekeepers, either out of ignorance or by mistake, removed the barriers. On the same day, all 26 families left the cramped hives and flew away to an unknown destination. And then everything went naturally. They multiplied and began to take over more and more territories. People, as you can imagine, have no idea how to fight it. Everyone who gets the idea to go and chase them away is strongly advised to stay away from these monsters. Whoever happens to be around them, be it an intelligent person or a dangerous beast, they'll all be doomed to failure. Africanized bees sting their enemies until the victim is more than a third of a mile away or no longer shows signs of life. These bees have already killed more than 1,000 people, and how many animals is too awful to think think about. And their main secret is not in a special physical form, but in the usual persistence. Killer bees extract pollen much more actively than other subspecies. Because of this, they develop and grow stronger much faster. Scientists still have no idea what motivates them. Oriental rat flea. Fleas are known to everyone as one of the main vectors of nasty things, and the southern rat flea is no exception. This insect has been dubbed the Black Death, and I think you can guess why. It's because it's a plague carrier. Once this monster killed more than 15 million people, about a quarter of the population of Europe at the time. Just imagine how dangerous this flea could be. Although the culprit was not the flea itself, but the bacillus carried by the southern rat. Elusive and small bloodsuckers, as many scientists say, are the main possible carriers of this terrible disease. It's all about their specific digestive system structure. Their esophagus has a certain thickening, where without any harm to the flea itself, deadly bacteria accumulate. That's what infects a person when they suck blood. Interesting fact, these bacteria are exactly what makes the Oriental rat flea hunt. Due to their accumulation in the body, at some point they form into a whole lump that blocks the food supply. Because of this, the flea has a permanent feeling of hunger and develops an addiction to constantly flying and sucking someone's blood. Trying to dine once again, the flea has its blood stuck in front of this lump and regurgitated back into the wound, together with deadly plague bacteria. That's how the infection occurs. It's lucky that the infected fleas themselves do not live that long, usually not more than 10 days. Otherwise, it'd be scary to imagine what the consequences could be if they were more survivable in conditions of eternal hunger. Fleas are not the only small creatures that can make a human life more problematic. Along with them is the red fire ant. It's considered one of the most dangerous, invasive ant species in the world because it has a strong venom. It's injected into the skin with a sting from a gland in the back of the abdomen. And it's not just a prick that causes a burning sensation, it's a full-blown sting that can drive a person to a lethal state. And once upon a time, they didn't exist and people didn't have a headache about it. But at some point, several Brazilian merchant ships docked at an Alabama seaport with unplanned live cargo on board. As you can imagine, it didn't take long for them to relocate. The ants escaped from aboard and eventually multiplied, literally, all over the southern United States. It was a sin not to take advantage of such luck. The climate here was just right for their comfortable existence, and most importantly, here they had no natural enemies. Time passed and the ants did not stop developing. Soon they moved to Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, and even China, and it would have been okay if they had just settled far away from the cities and lived their lives. No, they had to damage livestock, displace other ants, living here all the time before them, and attack wild animals and even birds. In short, the fauna of almost the entire world has experienced why these ants are called fire ants. Gripping the skin with their powerful jaws, they tuck the abdomen and make more than one blow at once, causing a burn to occur in their place, hence the name. This is followed by nausea, allergies, and shortness of breath. Manticores. This is the name of other insects that we're going to talk about. They're very large beetles, sometimes up to 3 inches long. They cannot fly but have incredibly powerful jaws, so much so that they can bite even an adult scorpion in half. These nocturnal hunters are not only adept at attacking, but also at defending themselves with the aid of their tough, chitinous armor. Although I don't even know why Mother Nature gave them both. In my opinion, these stingers alone would have sufficed. After all, the power of their bite is such that this beetle will literally cut any opponent in half, no matter who it is. Together with this, manticores are also incredibly agile and fast creatures. It's believed that even though they're relatively large, these bugs can change direction faster than the human eye can react. In most cases, though, there's no need to react, as they ambush you, and no matter how agile their opponent is, no one will be able to avoid the attack. From the outside, only the head of this bug and part of its chitinous shell, which resembles a shield, will be visible. And if you add some surroundings like leaves, dirt, or rocks, you'll not be able to detect the manticore at all. Bombardier beetle. While some insects have extremely strong jaws or unimaginable agility, others have gone even further and acquired weapons that, as it seems at first glance, are simply unrealistic to resist. It's like using a gun during a fistfight. The bombardier beetle also has a marvelous defense mechanism that allows it to shoot its enemy with a mixture of chemicals heating up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Even more frightening is that the accuracy of this shot the beetle fires is incredible. No professional shooter can boast such accuracy. The bugs themselves live all over the world except for Antarctica. Their size is small, usually not more than 1.2 inches. However, their main trick, as I said, is their defense mechanism. To carry out an attack, the beetle has 2 glands in its abdomen, 4 reservoirs, and a special chamber where the reaction takes place. The glands produce a mixture of chemicals. The reservoirs contain an element that acts as an igniter, and the special chamber is needed so that the bombardier himself is not harmed during the preparation of this nuclear mixture. Surprisingly, to put all this miracle process into action, the beetle needs only a fraction of a second. In such a short time, the chemical tanks are compressed, the valves open, and the substances enter the reaction chamber, ejecting a stream of searing mixture outside. However, far not all insects are dangerous due to the fact that they themselves can do something amazing. Tsetse flies, for example, do not shoot boiling water, do not have the strongest jaws, and do not even possess protective spines endowed with a toxin. Yet they're more dangerous than a lion, elephant, and crocodile combined. But how can this be? The answer is simple. But to find out, you have to get to know the fly itself. So it's inconspicuous. It has transparent wings and reddish eyes. It seems like everything is usual, but you should look a little closer to notice a sharp proboscis. It's with its help tsetse fly feeds, biting everyone who gets in its way. Small rodents, dangerous predators, it literally doesn't care who that'll be. Interesting fact, those are zebras these insects cannot get at. The stylish black and white pattern blocks the bloodsucker's orientation system. They don't realize where to land and avoid contact with zebras. Well, a tsetse fly will never turn down a tasty lunch. I'll tell you more, it's like a hungry tourist who first appeared at a buffet. It'll eat until it feels bad. And along with the delicious blood, the fly will get a lot of trypanosomes, parasites that use the fly like a shuttle bus. It takes them from one infected individual and carries them to the body of another. It's these invisible creatures that mow down all living creatures, betraying the tsetse fly, which really just likes to eat. The giant Asian hornet, which is considered to be the largest hornet in the world, will not be able to escape responsibility. The length of its individual subspecies can reach 2 inches, with a wingspan of more than 3 inches, and a sting of almost 0.2 inches. The main feature distinguishing this monster from other hornets is its very large head. The distance from the back of the eyes to the back of the head is said to be several times more than the width of the eye. Who's going to scrutinize this hornet's head, though, right? The important thing for us is to know what to expect from them, and there's a lot we can do. Giant Asian hornets love to attack other people's hives, such as local beehives. They're both a great source of honey and meat. Having plundered the nest of laborers, hornets provide food not only for themselves but also for their bloodthirsty larvae. It's said that only 30 of these giants can cope with a colony of thousands of ordinary bees. And even if a farmer notices this outrage, there's nothing he can do about it. The venom of Asian hornets is one of the most toxic among insects. The bite of 2 to 3 individuals will easily cause anaphylactic shock with all the consequences. According to statistics, the stings of these monsters send dozens of adults to glory every year. That's about it. Write in the comments which insect seemed to you the most dangerous. Leave a like and subscribe to our channel.